Throughout Gardner's art through the ages, the depiction of animals has evolved from simple cave drawings to a meaningful attribute. Animals have a symbolic meaning as mediums between gods and humans. These occurrences take place in cave drawings, Egypt, prehistoric Egypt, ancient Greece, the Etruscans, the Roman Empire, and during the unravel of the Christian religion as well. In the relief sculpture Woman Holding a Bison Horn created in the Paleolithic period, the horn is greatly emphasized. Not knowing what gods were in that period, one can only wonder why this woman was sculpted. The left hand of the woman indicated fertility, the ability to create life just as gods do. Women in that period must have had been viewed as a god because of fertility and the bison horn. Gold crown with the sun disk and cow horns. These types of crowns were only worn by goddesses in Egypt, which meant that they were divine. The cow horns in this portrait portray that she is a mother goddess and a queen of heaven. In these ancient times, cow horns also symbolize the woman's fertility. This shows how cow horns are used as a symbolic meaning as mediums between goddesses and humans. The Taharko Sphinx symbolized one of the greatest rulers of Kush in modern-day Sudan, made up of ears, mane, body of a lion, and a human face wearing a headdress with two cobras. The significance of these miraculous sculptures signified the sun god Ra, Horus the lion god, and the power of the Egyptian king. The relationship between the Egyptian people and these sphinx related to how they idolized their rulers. They were sought out to have significant power that helped Egypt from falling apart. The Gnosis woman holds one snake on each hand and has a leopard-like feline on her head. She also has exposed breasts that suggest fertility. The snakes in this figurine mean that she had some type of power over the animal world. This makes her seem very powerful and immortal because snakes are seen to be fierce and powerful. The goddess holding the snakes transmits the animal's power to the goddess. In Greek mythology, the sculpture of Hero and the centaur symbolized the good and evil of a narrative story. Unlike most examples pertaining to animals and humans being good, this representation shows the complete opposite. The relationship here is that the centaur represents the evil in the world, and this human-animal composite monster has no perceived meaning to any good of the people. The Capitoline wolf was a sculpture representing a she-wolf nursing the infants of Romulus and Remus. This sculpture is the relationship between the wolf and twins it represents. It was said that both Romulus and Remus were the twin sons of Mars, the god of war. Mars abandoned the twins, which were saved by the she-wolf, ultimately raising them and nurturing them until she couldn't any longer. They are said to be the founders of Rome. This led people to believe that no city could compare to theirs because it was founded by the Son of God. Chimera of Arezzo is a late classical piece that mixed three different animals to create a monster. The Bellerophon was the slayer of this creature as a quest to receive a blessing from a god. As being a frequent slayer of monsters, Bellerophon received a Pegasus in one of his victories by a god. In Greek mythology, animals were game to be slain by a man in a quest to please the gods and receive their gifts. Marcus Aurelius on a horse is an empowering statue in the Roman Empire. Marcus is a man just like any other person. When Marcus gets on the horse, he became a part of the horse just as a composite figure. The horse gave Marcus godlike powers by hierarchy of scale. Marcus is placed on top, trumping everyone just as God trumps over man. In this statue, Christ, the Son of God, was an obedient shepherd who was willing to lay down his life for the sheep. Through this willingness, God uses the sheep as a representation of the people and trying to get across that Jesus Christ is not letting himself lose any of his sheep. God is giving a statement through that depiction that he will not forsake his children, for he will always lead them to the right path. This sculpture is surrounded by four composites, the eagle being St. John, the man being St. Matthew, ox being St. Luke, and lion being St. Mark. Here, the eagle, ox, and lion are animals transpired in the works to create the four symbols of the Bible, the evangelists. The relationship between these animals and humans are often seen as symbols that represent Christ. With Christ seating at the throne, it shows the animals are a representation of peace and wisdom. This creates a transpired meaning that animals of Christ are another way of representing God's creation that the people can relate to in his world.